Hello guys, so today I will talk about the story of Witches Loaves, a short story by O. Henry, and in this story I will talk about the plot analysis, the characters and traits, the setting, the point of view, also the symbols, themes, literary elements, message, opinion, and the relation between story and real life. So the first is about the plot analysis. In the plot analysis, we have exposition, conflicts, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. So now we will discuss about the first part is about exposition. In this exposition, we are introduced to our protagonist character, Martha Macomb, and it is explained that she is an independent woman who manages her own bakery shop. She is a middle-aged woman and single, but she still hopes for a love relationship. When a middle-aged man with German accent comes to her little store 2 or 3 times a week, Martha begins to think of him and she starts to like him. But strangely, he always asks for 2 loaves of stale bread. And then, after that, we have conflict. In conflict, happened between the woman, Martha, against herself. It happened when Martha wants to insert fresh butter to man's stale bread because she feels sympathy for the man who always buys stale bread every time he comes to her bakery. But she doesn't do it at that time because she was afraid that it will hurt his pride. But at one time, when she had a chance, she used the opportunity to put the butter in a deep slice of man's bread while he is watching a fire engine. And then the next is rising action. In the rising action or complication, she thought about what she has done. Had she been too bold, would he be angry? But Martha hopes that the artist would not offend and like her present. And then the climax. The climax happened when the artist man came scolding and cursing Martha because he found butter in his stale bread. And then falling action. In falling action, a man's coworkers tried to explain why the artist was so angry and why the artist always bought stale bread in his shop. It turns out that the artist is an architectural draftsman who using stale bread as one of his techniques in painting. And he is very angry because he joined a competition for painting and the painting just ruins by the butter. And then the resolution, we have Martha was realized that she was wrong about her assumption and it was a terrible way to attract him to like her. And then she takes off her fancy clothes and throws her beauty formula into the ash can. Then she backs to her previous life. The next is we have characters and traits. First characters is Major, which is Martha Macomb, and she has a kind-hearted and sympathetic traits, while the other is she has a round and flat character. She has round character because she can feel happy, she can feel confused, and she can feel sad in the story. And flat characters means that she didn't change from the start until the end of the story. We know that she is a kind person, she is a sympathetic person, and after the end of the story, even though Martha knows that she was making a mistake, but she didn't change to be a bad person. She still become a kind person. And then the next is the minor characters, the architectural draftsman, which is she is a quiet, so I think that the trait is a quiet person. And then static character means that the narrator didn't tell explicitly about his character because he just a quiet person and didn't talk too much with the major character. Dynamic character, like we know that the architectural draftsman is a quiet person, but in the end of the story, she changed into an angry man because she finds out the butter in the stale bread. So it changed her perspective about Mrs. Martha. And then the next is about the settings. In the settings, we have two points. First is place and time, and the next is social settings, social context. And the place and time, the story is taking place at Martha's little bakery in the past, maybe around 1800 years, because I believe there is a man who speaks with accent German, and maybe it was the time Europeans immigrate to America. And then the next is about the social context. In this story, the social context is about middle class people, because Martha is a person who sells a bread, and also the man who is an architectural draftsman. They join a competition. On the other hand, it is also talk about a marriage, where the society sees that middle-aged people, women or men, should be married. This social situation affects the character of Martha, who wants to have a relation with someone, and she starts trying to get attention of an architect man who is a customer in her bread shop. The next is the point of view. In the story, the point of view is third-person omniscience, because he knows characters' innermost thoughts and emotion. The story's focus is certainly on Martha, but the narrator doesn't speak from her point of view. It can be analyzed with the sentence in the story that said, for a long time that her mind dwelt on the subject. She imagined that scene when he should discover her little deception. So it means that in this sentence, the narrator knows what he thinks and knows what she imagined. So in the story, the point of view is third-person omniscient. Next is about the symbols. The first symbol is a fire engine. It symbolizes as a warning that there will be a big problem that Martha will overcome, and it is happened after the man finds out the butter in his stale bread. The next symbol is blue dot waist silk. Blue dotted waist silk, it symbolizes a woman's way to attract men's attention. The main characters, Martha, use these clothes to attract the man, to make her more beautiful and younger. And then the next is the stale loaves of bread. The stale loaves of bread, it represents how a woman's effort doesn't mean anything. It means that the effort of Martha is not worth, to get the man's attention, because at the end we know that she is being rejected. And then next is about the theme. The theme is good intention cannot always be received well. We know that in this story, Martha wants to give a butter in the stale bread because she feels sympathy and she feels pity to the man. But we know that the man turns out angry and yelled and scolded at her. The next is about the literary elements. There are two literary elements here. First, irony, and the second is figurative language of onomatopoeia. The first is in irony. We can see at the title, Witches Loaves. It is irony because it is not the real meaning of witch, but because of Martha put the butter in the slice of stale bread, and he makes him thinks that she is a witch who ruined his painting, who makes the painting of the man become worse. And then the next from the irony is the situational irony. So we know that to get attraction from the artist man or the architectural man, Mrs. Martha inserted much butter to the bread, and she had been thinking about it, that he will like her present and will look at her. But conversely, he got angry and yelled at her. And then there is a verbal irony. We can see in the sentence or in the conversation that the man said to her, "I will tell you, you one was marrying some old cat." It means that an old woman who likes interferes people's business. So it isn't an old kid, but an old woman. And then the next is onomatopoeia. In onomatopoeia, we can find in the sentence great tooting and banging. In the phrase, great tooting and banging. And this is showing us what the fire truck sound like. So the next is about the message. The message is never assuming anything about anyone, because our presumption can be wrong and dangerous. As we know in the story that Martha assumes that he is a poor man, she is a poor artist, but actually it doesn't. Because he always bought stale bread doesn't mean that he is a poor. So we cannot see people from the outside. And then the next is about the opinion. So as a reader, I agree with the author, which gives a very related story to real life, because we cannot make assumption if we really don't know the truth about someone. So first we have to look for more information before do something for people. Furthermore, although we have a good intention, but not all people will accept us as we expected. The next is about the connection of the story with that. The connection of story with that means that the relation between story and real life. I found that this story is truly happened in real life, where a woman tried to make an effort to take men's attention and end up being rejected. So in the real life, there are also women who try to get attention for men. Not all of them can get it, because maybe they has a lot of imperfection, like they're fat, not beautiful, or not rich. And it also happened to my friend, which is my friend in my high school. She likes a boy and she said to approach him, but when she said her love, she being rejected. So that's all from me about analysis of Witches Loaves. Thank you so much for listening and see you